Welcome back to another installment of Julian's Random Projects. In today's episode, I'm just doing a couple of housekeeping type things before I try and take this around the block. Bit of a shakedown test. Battery's still in a temporary location. Clean up some of the wiring. Replaced a couple of gaskets. Bled the brakes. I mean, relatively boring things that are just sort of general maintenance for a vehicle. I didn't bother recording. There's no reason to bore you guys with that type of stuff. But I did find something interesting for folks that maybe are working on some of these MGs. I thought I was going to have to pull the motor out in the transmission again. I started nosing around and I've discovered that the fill port for the transmission to top it off with oil, this thing's completely dry because we just replaced the gasket, and it was dry when I bought it. So I don't know. We'll wait and see what happens when we fill this thing full of oil. Conveniently enough, I don't have to take this out yet again. It's just behind here, so that's what we're going to do today. Let's take you off the stand here so we can take a look at what we're dealing with. I don't think we're going to get this thing perfectly spick and span, but it's a lot cleaner than it was before. And I've noticed that no amount of like rubbing is getting down to just the bare paint, because there's this coating, and I'm guessing that's what was in here as a rust preventive measure back in the day. It's like kind of like a tar oily gunk, and it's actually all slidden down over the years and collected down in here. This used to be completely, actually if my finger goes down in there, that was completely packed to the top. You couldn't even see these cables here with that gunk, and it just sort of slidden down. It was like a mix between dirt and oil and that tar material I was talking about. And I think it was put in here. I don't think that it's dirt that the owner was carrying around with them all these years, because it starts to feel a lot like this. Now, the reason I've stopped cleaning is because there's little deposits like this of stuck on tar, and if you get this part really clean and then you come in and wipe it here, this smears and coats it again. So I'm just going to leave it. It's doing its job to protect this thing. It's done it for fucking 30 some odd years to date. There's no reason to start messing with it too much. So it's more about being tidy back here, and then in places where I came in with an abrasive flapper wheel, lightly abrasive. Focus. I discovered the paint started to flake away in these spots, and it's just the littlest bit of rust. I mean, it's not like, it's just surface rust, and didn't even eat into this paint over this way. So cleaned it. The next step will be to just spray a quick rust inhibitor and then move on with our lives. So now, next step, try and get the batteries back here.
And do you know I can whistle right here?
I'm hanging in, there ain't no doubt, and I'm hanging tough. Over and out, over and out, over and out.